Hey everyone, today I'm going to go and review my new deck. It's Golos Tireless Pilgrim Salt. So, just to give a heads up, what I did for this deck is I went to EDH Rec's top 100 saltiest cards and built a deck using the majority of those. But before we get into the deck tech and what I use for the deck, just want to remind you to please like, comment, and subscribe. Also, if you go and follow me on twitch.tv/Jarvis_Moonbeam, Instagram and Twitter at Jarvis_Moonbeam, and you can join my Discord by following the link in the description below. So, Golos himself is a 5 CMC legendary artifact creature. Now, when he enters the battlefield, you may search your library for a land card, put it onto the battlefield, tap, and shuffle your library, and then for 2 Wooburg, as out of the top 3 cards of your library, you may play them this turn without paying their mana cost. So he is actually on the top 100 saltiest cards, and that is why he is the commander. The reason why he's on the saltiest cards is you're getting to play 3 spells for 7 and also go and get a land that a lot of times can be a combo piece. A lot of people end up getting Field of the Dead, which is also going to be in this deck. But before we get into that, I just wanted to go and review the salt rankings and the amount of each color combination or color in general that saltiest cards they have in the top 100. So blue has 29. Most of blues are theft effects, extra turn spells, and counter spells. My biggest problem when I was looking at these is the counter spells, just because counter spells are blue's way of removal, and there aren't any removal spells in the top 100, but people really don't like counter spells. Red has 19, which are mostly chaos effects or mass land destruction. Multicolored spells, a lot of it are commanders that people don't really like. Just either they're stacksy or combo-y, or something like aura shards, which really a way that people go and destroy a lot of artifacts and enchantments. Colorless, mostly artifacts that are stacks pieces, or Eldrazi, and also Bloodsteel Colossus. White has 12, which is mostly mass land destruction or stacks. Black has 6. Infect, combo, or Tainted Aether. Green has 5, which infect combo, pretty much the main 2 there. And there are 2 lands, which are Gaia's Cradle and Tabernacle at Pendrell Vale. I think a lot of those has to deal with cost, except the upkeep for Tabernacle. Now, I told you what a lot of these are. Because I made a conscious decision that I wasn't going to do mass land destruction when building the deck, you're not going to see a ton of red in my deck. Also, going through the building process, I decided to get rid of the chaos effects because you couldn't really control them, and I wanted this to be a deck that could be functional, that you could have a chance of winning with. And it's really hard to win through chaos. It just draws out the game longer. And same thing with stacks pieces. I don't play stacks pieces in the deck because you cannot break parity with stacks pieces unless you're building a deck around breaking parity with it. And just trying to play salty decks, you're not going to really break that parity. I also made sure that I follow all the same restrictions I do when building my other decks, which I would either have to own the card or the card wouldn't have to be at a price point that I wouldn't that I would still purchase it if I was going to build the deck in paper, which cut out both of the lands in Tabernacle and Gaia's Cradle. So the total salt score for this deck came out to 102.97. Now, with EDH Rec Salt Score, the cards are out of a total of 4 saltiness rankings. The saltiest card in this deck has a 2.86 ranking, so to be averaging over 1 per 1 salt per card is quite an accomplishment, considering stuff like basic lands is worth 0, and so are cards that have come out post M21. So anything from Zendikar Rising, Commander Legends, Strixhaven, or Kaldheim aren't included. So I don't really have like anything in here onto why I like combos, stuff like that. There are combos in it, but when I'm doing the deck tech, I'm just listing the cards in the saltiest order. First one is expropriate. Uh, you steal people's stuff or you take their turn. Vorinclex, Voice of Hunger. Acts as stacks, or you get extra mana. Jinga Taxis. You pretty much ruin your opponent's hands unless they have a Reliquary Tower or a Spellbook effect. Well, you get to draw 7 each and every one of your turns. Cyclonic Rift. People don't like the mass bounce effect. Urza, Lord High Artificer. This is because I feel like this one's because Urza tends to be a stacks commander. Also, for 5 mana, you could go and keep cycling into something good and play it for free. Mindslaver. People don't like when you take their turn. Send triplets. People really don't like when you play their things and make it so they can't interact with you. Time Stretch. Extra turns. Teferi Time Raveler. You're stopping people from interacting with you because they can only play things as sorceries. Well, you could still play things as instant, and up to including playing sorceries as instants. Blightsteel. People don't like Infect. Nexus of Fate. Yet again, extra turns. And what's crazy with the extra turns here is that you can keep taking an extra turn because it shuffles into your library each and every time. Oka, Thief of Crowns. This one really throws me off a bit. And the reason why it throws me off is, sure, you can go and make one artifact or creature lose all abilities and become an elk, but when it comes to planeswalkers in EDH, they tend not to last around for long, and this doesn't really do a lot to defend itself. I don't think Oka's really as bad as other planeswalkers that are on this list are. Emrakul, the Promised End. You're taking someone's turn, and it's a cast effect, so unless you're playing Stifle, it can't be countered. Thassa's Oracle. This is completely because of the combo potential with Demonic Consultation or Tainted Pact, both of which you'll see later on. Void Winnower. Your opponents can't cast even spells, and they can't block with creatures with even converted mana cost. Yet again, it's a stacks. People don't like when you tell them what they can and can't do. Narset Part of Veils. It stops opponents from drawing more than one card a turn. Mana Drain. This is my biggest complaint. Mana Drain has a salt score of 2.05. It's a counter spell. Sure, you're getting value off the counter spell, but this is blue's way of removal. People aren't salty about Path to Exile or Swords to Plowshare, but they get salty about counter spells. Omniscience. You get to play free spells. Rhystic Study. Yeah, it's a tax effect, and it's more annoying just to hear, do you want to pay the 1? Fierce Guardianship is a free counterspell for non-creatures, so people don't like it. Elstorn Grand Cenobite. Your creatures get +2/+2, while your opponent's creatures get -2/-2. This could act as mass board wipes against token decks. This also does have some combo protection potential with Hormus Spell and Herborg Tomb of Yawgmoth because you destroy everyone's lands while you survive. Thrasios Triton Hero. Yet again, combo and really quick ramp. Tulane Teller of Tales. Combo Commander. Teferi Master of Time. Extra turns. Force of Will. Free counterspell. Teferi's Protection. This one really kind of surprised me a little bit because sure, you get to phase out of the game, but it's only for a turn and it only stops you from losing or protecting your board state. And you're able to interact with it. It's an instant. I'm not sure why this one made people salty. It is number 26 overall in the deck with a salt score of 1.81, so I am really surprised on it. Ulamog the Infinite Gyre. It's a caster, destroy something, and has Annihilator 4, which is where people's biggest problem is with it. Ulamog the Ceaseless Hunger. You exile 2 permanents, and you exile 20 cards from your opponent's library. So that's a big thing. Smothering Tithe. Kind of the same thing with Rhystic Study, except it's do you want to pay the 2? Kinnan Bonder Prodigy. It's because it combos and makes infinite mana with Basalt Monolith. Cosmic Butcher of Truth, it's the Annihilator 4. Agent of Treachery, it's the Theft effects again. Plus, you could go and repeatedly do this if you have a Flicker effect. Skitherix the Blight Dragon, it's Infect. Consecrated Sphinx, it's because you get to draw 2 cards whenever your opponent draws a card. For 6 mana, it's a 4/6 flyer. Palancron, combo potential with Deadeye Navigator, where you can untap up to 7 lands, or you can just use Palancron itself to go and create infinite mana if you have 7 lands. Bribery, you steal directly from your opponent's library. Aura Shards, whenever a creature enters the battlefield, you may destroy target artifact or enchantment. With something like Palancron, you can destroy everybody's artifacts and enchantments except your own. Demonic Consultation, it's the combo with Thassa's Oracle. Ugin the Spirit Dragon, it's because it's -X, can go and destroy most boards from colored spells, and it's very easy to ultimate. Doomsday, it's a combo win. People don't like combo wins. Mana Crypt. Mana Crypt doesn't surprise me that much because with Mana Crypt, it is free, essentially. It is free mana, where you only pay 3 life. Seaborn Muse. You get it on tap, and if you have instant speed spells, you're playing when your opponents are supposed to. And trust me, they get super annoyed. Deadeye Navigator, soul bonded to Agent of Treachery, soul bonded to Palancron, soul bonded to so many other things, and you just can destroy the game with it. Now, this is where you get from the saltiest cards to cards that are good, that I put in the deck to go and make it a functional deck that doesn't necessarily make it salty. But people that, in my experience, don't like when these are played, or they just help the deck function. Dockside Extortionist is the first one in this, where it creates X treasures, where X is the number of artifacts and enchantments your opponents control. Just a really good red card, and I'm surprised it's not ranked higher on the saltiest list. Leyline of the Void shuts off the graveyard, main reason why I put it in there. Tainted Pact was to combo with Thassa's Oracle. Field of the Dead was to combo with Golos and making zombies by playing lands. Soul Ring, just because it's a commander deck. Academy Ruins is for Mindslaver to be able to Mindslaver lock someone. Basalt Monolith is for Kinnan to make infinite generic mana. Well, infinite colorless, I should say, not generic. Dark Depths, just to make Merit Lage. There is also Thespian Stage in here. This one goes back to where people don't like blue because blue plays counterspells, and counterspells is the way of removal. Basic lands of just a regular basic land type do not have a salt ranking score, but snow-covered lands do. A snow-covered island's salt score is 0.71. For instance, this is saltier than Thespian Stage, Urborg, Shocklands, Triomes, just because it's a snow-covered island. People really need to get over blue countering things. Cormac's Bell to combo with Elish Norn. Urborg, yet again, Elish Norn. Bajuka Bog, Thespian Stage for Dark Depths. Snow-covered Mountain, Snow-covered Plains. 3 visits, which is really good because it does bring it in untapped if the land is untapped, but you get a Triome and get 3 colors at once. Arcane Signet, Breeding Pool, Snow-covered Swamp, Mana Confluence. So let's put it this: a land that can tap for any color is less salty than a snow-covered island. And yes, I'm getting salty about people being upset about blue being a salty color. Blue's not that bad, guys. Get over it. Snow-covered Forest, Chromatic Lantern for color fixing, Steam Vents, Reliquary Tower, Lotus Field. I like Lotus Field a lot just for, it does add ramp. I know you have to sacrifice 2 lands, but you do get 3 mana of any 1 color. Blood Crypt, Farseek, which yet again lets you get a Triome. Sacred Foundry, Stomping Ground, Temple Garden. City of Brass. Yet again, come on guys. Snow-covered island, yet again. Command tower. Hallowed fountain. Dark steel ingot. Godless shrine. Zagoth triome. Cascading cataracts. Indatha triome. Overgrown tomb. Watery grave. Path of ancestry. Ketrio triome. Mindstone. Robber triome. Valwar stone. And this is where we get into cards that should be salty, but they're not because they came out in Commander Legends or Zendikar Rising or later, really. But this one's Commander Legends. Hole Breacher pretty much does what Narset does, except they don't even get to draw one card if it's not their turn. Opposition Agent stops them from tutoring anything, including cracking a fetch land. Jeweled Lotus, ramp out Golos quicker, and I think people aren't going to be fans of this because they're not fans of Mana Crypt. This is a card that I'm putting in not because I think it's going to be on the saltiest score, but because I think it's just really good, and with all these cards not being on an efficient curve, because if you notice, a lot of the salty cards are high CMC. This lets me go and maybe take advantage of my opponent's ramp spells, or just be able to play other spells just from playing my opponent's things, because they have to pay the extra two, or you get a copy it. Secret God of the Tree. This one I'm playing for the Prismatic Bridge side, where at the beginning of your upkeep, you can reveal cards from the top of your library until you get a creature or planeswalker, and you put onto the battlefield for free. Problem is, you don't get the cast triggers off the Eldrazi, but the plus side is, you do get to still cast like Roaring Collects for free. Pretty nice. Well, play it for free. The World Tree, it acts as mana fixing. Because once you have 6 or more lands, they tap for any color, not just the color they're supposed to be. And that's the last card that doesn't have a salt score because of being new. The only other cards that are in this deck that don't have a salt score is I do have 1 plains, 1 swamp, 1 mountain, 1 forest, and 1 island. The basic land that probably makes everyone the saltiest, but it is not. And the reason why I have 1 of each land and then 1 of each snow-covered land is because I take the pact. That way you don't have cards with the same name. So this deck could be saltier. If I played Stax Pieces or I played Mass Land Destruction, it would be a saltier deck. But this is a deck that will go and get the salt flowing while still go and be a functional deck that you have a chance of winning. So let me know what you think of the deck. What is the deck that you would make if you wanted to make the saltiest deck? And give me any suggestions. But until next time, have a good one.